Alright guys, so some things have changed since you've seen me last. Today we're working on just fixing things on the truck. So we had a issue with our feed on our GT55. Basically it was just an open dash 4 feed, which for ball bearing turbos that is not what you want. It has a 65 thou orifice in it now. It's got a restrictor in it, as does that one. So had to neck them down because it was over oiling them and causing them to leak and push oil everywhere. So cleaned the intercooler out real good and a lot of the charge pipes. Upon pulling the intercooler out, I discovered that I forgot to trim one spot up top, and there's some pretty good marks where it's probably been leaking some. I mean, it's hard to tell, like it's not really into the core right there. This one it kind of is, but I can't tell if it's all the way through. So we're gonna need to, whenever we boost leak check it, I'm gonna spray some soapy water on here to see if it is leaking. If it is, that would explain some things, but I didn't really have problems with it passing boost checks for the most part. But that is what we're messing with. I got this all cleaned out, and I also looked at my radiator and it was completely caked full of dirt, so I washed it out, and that was probably some of my getting up to temperature too quickly, and at races it would overheat pretty easy. So looking to hopefully take care of some of that stuff, but it has been the daily driver and it's been doing very well. I drove it the 10.5 hours back from Ohio, so it's been a trooper, but we're gonna get some of this stuff put back in now that we've got it cleaned up, and probably gonna try and get something to boost leak check it. Alright guys, one disclaimer I wanted to put in here. I know I'm gonna have some questions. Those of you that run a big frame charger like a GT55 that has a 6-inch inlet, I finally found a filter that is so much more massive than the one that I had on it before, and it's AFE filter. Obviously you can buy the filter of your choice. I'm just saying sometimes these 6-inch ones are hard to find in stock. And here's the part number that I had found and the dimensions with it. 6-inch inlet, and it's about around 9 inches long, or 7.5 inches long. The 9 I do not know, but it's a straight. It doesn't angle in and narrow in at the top, so fits really good, but it also won't collapse. The thing is definitely large for what it is. It would be nice to have something to go down into there, but there's just not room with this. But besides that, I got the intercooler put back in. I had to take care of some stuff where it was rubbing. It was rubbing back up in here, so I re-clearanced all that and cut a stud off that held the factory trans cooler. And by doing a lot of this and beating the core support just a little bit, I was having problems with this charge pipe being extremely tight and hard to get on, and there being no flex, which with vibrants there's supposed to be movement so they can move around. And as you can see, this one's actually moving and rotating now, and it would not at all before, so that'll help the overall fitment of the turbos in general. And now that I fixed that, I'm going to loosen up some of these connections and reseat those, because what happened last time, the combination of the alignment being bad and a lot of stress being put down on this clamp and on the in-between stage pipe, the combination of that and the death wobble broke the center section of my 362, which was right in here. So I want to keep that from happening with this ball bearing charger. But that is where we're at and what we had found. So eventually when I get around to boost leak checking this, I will spray some soapy water in there. You can see it from right on the inside here by the radiator, and you'll be able to see if it's leaking or not. So if it is, we'll go about that whenever the time comes. Alright guys, so whenever you were with me last here, I believe it was last weekend, we were working on intercooler stuff, just cleaning it out and taking care of some other things. Kind of caught you up towards the end. Been driving the truck all week, haven't had any issues there. I think really what I should have done there in that last video was take some JB Weld and put it all over the intercooler right there in hopes that it would stop leaking, which might sound haggard, but it is an expensive intercooler. Not only is it that, it's kind of a one-off deal with the vibrant flanges welded on and all that. So that's probably what I should have done. But today kind of can a little bit tell that I got the back wheels up off the ground. It's on jack stands. I've got the trans pan off, and we got the valve body out of the truck. So the issues I was having, which I've got it over here and I got it assembled. The issues we were having was the truck it wasn't going first to third upshifting, but downshifting it would go from third and would not downshift into second. And I mean, no matter what, it would just wait until you got all the way to first and then it would downshift into first. So that was really annoying, especially if, which I haven't had a trailer on, but if I was to have a trailer on, it would really bog and it would be useless towing a trailer. So I'm trying to get that all taken care of before it is time to do that. So the boys up at Fire Punk sent me some stuff. They just sent me a known good valve body harness with electronics on it, and then they sent me some spares as well. Mine has the BD kit in it already, but so I'm taking that out, put the stock stuff back in. Anteaters sometimes are notorious for not liking the BD kits. Some work, some don't. Mine worked for a while. I don't know what the issue is currently, but it was governor pressure related. So I cleaned off the valve body, swapped the harness on and the new electronics, and we are about to put the filter on it and we'll throw it back in the truck. Alright guys, we are back working on the Blue truck on a weeknight because of my ignorance. So last night I finally hooked up my AEM's GPS module so I can see mile an hour on my logger, which will be helpful racing and everything. We got it hooked up, wanted to go test it, said why not, let's go do a closed course pull and see what kind of mile an hour we can get out of this thing. We did see 128 miles an hour at 3,600 RPM, so there was still some room left. But it's extra clackety the day after, and when I left from work in it, it was almost like a knock. It was so loud. So we pulled all the valve covers off, and lash is very far out. I just set lash 3 weeks ago, and it was on the money. So me and Andy have some thoughts. It shouldn't be on one. Yeah, we're on the back side. But they're all loose, real loose, like 40 thou plus loose. And it's not ideal, so either maybe wiped all the cam lobes. The push rods are fine. I don't know if the valve seats or valves or any of those are in healthy working order. What else? Cam gear, crank gear, neither one of those are welded. So I don't know, could have done multiple things, but we're just gonna reset lash and see how it sounds. When it's definitely slapping the pistons, then we've got other issues. There's also a little bit more oil in the ground than normal, so don't know what that's about, but we might have to put a 6.7 together sooner than later. But I'll let you guys know how this goes. Oh, why it looks so blurry. There's not much timing rattle anymore. So what that could be about, I have absolutely no idea. Also, we got another AEM screen set to how it should be with the mile an hour working. So that was fun last night, but I'm gonna drive it home, see what happens. It could be anything at this point. Well, Ole Blue here has basically said its death wish, or wanting to say it. We've got the bed off of Andy's truck, and you guys will get a full walk around of this thing, but we are cleaning things up. Gonna be mounting some double adjustable shocks with a new shock mount. We got a bar that we're gonna put across the back and cut out a bunch of stuff that it doesn't need to try and lose some weight. But we'll get around to an official video. But this is what we're working on this Saturday. Alright guys, hopefully by the end of this clip I will make a little video of what we've been up to. We just got done washing the truck. As you guys know, my engine is eating itself alive right now. So I figured what better time to put a 6.7 together than now. I was just going to surprise you with it, of us dropping it in and doing it, but we need to be posting videos. That's the moral of the story here. I want it done before UCC. We have 36 days. I personally think it's doable from like an effort and a drive standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, probably not. It's takes a good bit of money. Yeah, I could swing it, but I would be making my trip to UCC super tight. Like, worried about how if I have enough money to pay the freaking tech card. So we're going to be dropping a good bit of money this last weekend. I dropped a good chunk of change on a D&J Stage 1 6.7 head, firing machine for 14 mil head studs. It's 220 CFM with the stock shelf on it still, so a lot more than what my 12 valve head is all the way through all the RPMs. To shipbox this thing together, so to speak. Well, and we've got all the block is drilled and tapped for the VE front timing case. We have to grind off some stuff for the pump to fit. I am drilling and tapping the block myself for 14 mil hardware, which some probably say is questionable. I don't know if you can tell, this is most definitely the big boy hardware, and I don't know which one I've done yet. So it's really not that hard in all reality. I mean, it's pretty easy. The biggest thing is making sure it's straight, and the drill bit size you use is, I believe I have 30 seconds, I think. The biggest thing is, yeah, keeping it straight, and you're essentially just knocking the threads out of the holes. Like, the hole size on the outside is the same. Whenever you get down into the hole, you just knock the threads out of it essentially, and then you retap it. So really not that hard, not that difficult. After that, it's going to go up to a machine shop. We're going to get the mains, or we're going to get the main line board, and I think that's, yeah. Mains are getting line board. Obviously it has to be hot tank. They're going to hone the cylinders. I'm going to leave this, well, I'll replace the cam bearing. It's in good shape. I could leave it, so I might do that. They're going to deck the block a lot. We're going to put just normal 6.7 truck pistons in it that are around 17.5 to 1, I think. I'd have to look it up. Might be 17.1 or 17.2, but it's besides the point. We're leaving it 6.7 bore. So it's essentially just going to be 6.7 bore, 14 mil hardware as far as head studs and main studs go. And then no girdle, Wagler Street Fighter rods, D&J 6.7 head. It's going to have our big setup on it, a slightly bigger manifold charger probably, Evans 12 mil pump, and some injectors from Weston. But yeah, we're going to go over all of it. I'm going to continue drilling and tapping the block. And then in this video, hopefully I can get Andy to go over his truck, or we'll make that a separate video. But it's very similar things were done on this. I wish we would have filmed it all, but he's kind of incognito with that thing. But I'm going to continue on doing this. I might film some of it. It's not too bad. Guys, we are wondering why we didn't use the cherry picker the first time. Mr. Josh McCormick really illustrated that this would work pretty well, but we got it close. We just got to set the fuel neck where it needs to be. Get it in the right spot. And then we're just going to shimmy it around like you are about to see here. But it's really not that bad, but this bed is considerably heavier than a first-gen short bed. I will. Just made it a lot lighter. The poor third-gen.
That side before.
How many years ago was this redone?
4 or 5.
4 or 5? Oh. Welcome to the Midwest, I guess. Frank's gonna make a joke.